Allan here, and today I'm excited about our guest, Kyle S. Moore. Man, what a fun ride for you, Detective Mike Woody at Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F., to become part of this fantastic franchise, this world. You're so funny, and this opening cold open that you get to be a part of. Congratulations and welcome
Thank
to the
you.
show.
Wild. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, from the second I got it, it was just it was like a couple lines with Axel and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." It was just the game, and then I got it, and then I got the script, and then I was like, "Oh my God, this is like a whole chase scene and like I'm the guy screaming Foley, like this is it's great, and it's just such a credit to the director Mark, who just like gave someone a chance. Even the producers had told me eventually, like some of us wanted to just offer it, like where we're at right now in the business, a juicy role at that, 10 minutes in the car with Eddie Murphy, there's people out there, SNL dudes, people a little more with a little more name that would have just like, yeah, let's go. But the Mark wanted to audition it, and he wanted, someone real who looked like Mike Woody and who could hang with Eddie. And I got to audition and won out. So
That is crazy. Like, that's a good 15. That's like the iconic 80s, like a Lethal Weapon, cold open story that is important to the world. But you know what I'm talking about? Like those cold opens, like they used to do, where,
yeah, I'm like the
they're
Paul
like,
Reiser, like it's just like
yeah, it's just like the craziest thing. But it is a testament to what I always say, an overnight success that's taken years to get to where you are, and you've earned it and deserved it. So congratulations. How long of a process was it to get that role? Because I mean, obviously you've got a lot of screen time with Eddie. It's just you two essentially outside of the Red Wings game that you're at. Well, my first question, did you actually film at a game, or was that
yeah.
Hollywood? Oh,
So
so you did. Okay, that's
parts of
crazy.
it for sure. So like the going in there over the shoulders, stuff like that, and then the close-ups was at actually USC. So
Nice.
then they matched it pretty well. What was really cool was all the people you see next to us and right behind us are actually crew members.
Okay.
So that way they shot it here and have those people to match when we went to Detroit, and they don't have to fly out extras to match the shoulders and the side shots. So that was a really smart move.
I love it. So again, how long did it take you to book the role? What was the process? Did you have to do screen testing with Eddie? Like, I don't know how it's different every time from what I
Yeah, no,
understand.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, I got the self-tape, and then and this was 2022, right?
Okay.
So and then put the tape in, and then they said, yeah, so callback, in-person callback, might have been maybe my first in-person theatrical audition since COVID. Like, um, and so yeah, I went in there and met Mark, and just kind of I improvised a little bit. I'm from the Second City kind of Chicago stuff, so I always kind of keep it loose and but grounded. And he dug it. It felt good, but they always feel good. And like I've done a lot of like stuff, but like I haven't gotten the big thing or the series regular. I'm always, we're bringing you back next year, and then it's canceled, and then COVID shut down a show I was gonna blow up on. And so I kind of got used to like, well, I nailed it, but it's gonna be this guy. They're gonna grab this guy. Like I can't handle that. So it was out of my control, and then I just got a call. Maybe like it was a while. It was long enough for that I had already written it off for sure. Like the call was random. Like it was like 3 or 4 weeks, and they were like, "You got it." I was like, "I got what?" And they're like, "It's like Beverly Hills Cop." And I was like, "That's crazy." And then I got the script, and it was like, "This is huge," you know. And then we did a tape, and then it becomes always like, "Well, you don't shoot until November." And I was like, "Okay, so I have 4 months where they're gonna change their mind." You know, it's just like, it was just like, there's no
They're
way
going
this
to
is
find
happening.
me out and go, why did we book Kyle for this?
100%. And I was
That's
like,
that whole imposter syndrome, I think, that goes along with any sort of creative thing that you might do because you just, you won't, the shoe is going to drop, so to speak. But it's like, hey,
no,
you
I
got
did
it.
it. And that happened real bad after we shot. And we can talk about more the pre stuff, but after it was all done in the can, I mean, that was 2022. And then the strike happened. And so then they had to wait for reshoots. So that was 2 years. There was a year and a half where I didn't hear anything. I
Wow.
was for sure cut, like I was out of the movie. They were doing I heard they were doing reshoots. I saw a random article that they had already done reshoots and Billy Bob Thornton was now in it, and I was like, well, he took my role, like I was like, I told my wife so many times, like, I'm just out of this movie. And then I get a call like right before the strike, and it was like, hey, we need to get some ADR. And I was like, oh my God. And I like went in and saw the movie and like got to do some ADR, and the editor was like, you and Eddie are great together. And Mark was like, you look great. And it was like, and that was it. So that was right before the strike. And I was like, I'm in it. I'm in it. So I had at least while I was sitting and waiting, doing nothing for that almost a year, I at least knew this was gonna come out eventually.
So what's it like working with Eddie? I mean, I imagine it's just, I've heard different interviews that he's very, it's just, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. He comes in, you shoot your scenes, and it's a very run and gun process.
Yeah, it is, he's the executive producer, and he's one of the biggest dudes to do it, and he knows what he's doing. So it's not like he's gonna come and like shoot a whole bunch of shit with you and stuff like that. But it was really cool. He was like, it was he showed a lot of respect and like quiet affirmations and like a couple of these, and pats on the back and check in, like, how you doing? Like, the movie's gonna look great. He was super nice. And uh yeah, and then when we got in, like a lot of people were like, well, how do you feel about, because you would run the scenes a couple times with his double, who's this really nice guy as well and looks just like Eddie Murphy. So you would do that a lot, and then Eddie comes in and they, because he's got so much going on, he's got to come in and then it's got to be ready to go. So, they're gonna get my coverage, and then when Eddie comes in, they'll get his coverage and the wides and stuff. But and people were like, well, how do you feel about that? And I was like, I actually loved it because I got to do my coverage without one of my biggest heroes sitting aside from me. And I got to like improvise and take risks when it's just a director and me, and not like worried that I'm going to step on Eddie's toes. And so then by the time Eddie comes in, I already know like what I feel like worked and what I feel like didn't. And so I'm only showing one of my comedy heroes my favorite stuff. And he jumped right in. Like there was a couple bits that were improv bits,
Okay.
and he would, and then I knew that he dug it when he would like kind of, we would do another take and he would kind of bring that back up, like to kind of bring up one of the bones I threw out there. And so I was like, okay, so he likes to play. And that was another, the producers afterwards were like, yeah, no, you guys improvised a lot. They were like, it doesn't happen a whole lot with him because this was their assumption. They don't, I mean, it's not anything he says, that what they were guessing is that other people are afraid to do it because they don't want to step on the toe. So they're apprehensive to do it. But it sounds like the people that aren't and do it, he loves to play. I mean, the dude is one of the best improvisers on the planet. And I think as long as you've kind of proven, the first time I met him, we did end up, is the scene where you were in the golf cart driving up the ramp. And so we'd have to drive up that ramp and then walk back down, just me and him, and drive up the ramp and then walk back down. So the first three walks, maybe I didn't say anything. And then like, the fourth walk, he think he said, like, where are you from? What do you, and then when I said Second City, he kind of changed. He was kind of like, oh yeah, they sent us to Second City in my early SNL days to go check that stuff out. And he kind of it felt like a little like, all right, you know what you're doing. And then every time I saw him, we always kept it a little looser from that point on, and it was a blast.
It's just so funny. Like when you watch those scenes where you're talking, it's just you wonder how much is in the script and how much is improvised. So that answers my question. Uh, and it's just fun too. I mean, it's just really good. I mean, that first 15, 20 minutes really sets the tone for the movie. And as you said at the beginning, you get to be that guy that screams Foley and you're in these wild car chases, knocking over fences and porta potties. And however it's shot, I kind of don't want to know because I think it takes away from that Hollywood magic, of just fantastic, really great comedy timing and uh, congratulations. I mean, really, it's just super cool. And I imagine too, your family and friends are probably over the moon for you.
Yeah, it is very cool. I mean, I just posted something about it the other day because I was, you post so much and then you're like, all right, this is the last thing I don't want to hit everybody with everything, but I did want to say like it's been it's been a wild ride. I mean, I've been doing this, I've had my SAG card for 18 years and, I'm not a household name. I've made insurance the last 10 years, through commercials, through guest stars and stuff, but I'm in an apartment, like I'm not, the people need to understand about those strikes. Like I'm one of those blue collar guys that just strung stuff together enough to hit that threshold. And dude, I don't even have an agent right now. Like my agency fell apart during the strike. I'm in the number one movie in the world with Eddie Murphy, and I can't get an agent. And that's how like they're literally making 40% less of movies and TV right now. And
Yeah,
I
I've
think
heard.
everybody's trying to get their clients they have, stuff. So I mean, my manager's not worried. We're not worried, something we'll figure it out. But it is just such a weird thing to be like, you made it, and just be like, okay, but did I, But I guess I digress. What I was trying to say is that even if this, which I don't think it is, even if this is the end, I do feel like I did it. You know what I mean? Like the 10-year-old in me, I used to be obsessed with Nutty Professor. You know what I mean? Like I was in a small town in Tennessee, like we had a movie theater an hour away.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's just like that was the dream. Like I'm in an action comedy as the buddy cop to Eddie Murphy for like 12 minutes. You know what I mean? Like I did it. Like I would like to keep working in this business, but I do feel like bucket list check for sure.
You've done it and you will
Yeah.
continue to do it. So how did you become interested in acting? Like what was it for you? Well, Second City, obviously, so you're an improver. So that probably has helped guide you in some ways as far as like your course and things, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so acting was first. I was in that tiny town in Tennessee, and I'd actually seen a play that my school put on, and this town was very small-minded, and there was one boy in the play, and the boy got bullied really bad for being gay or whatever. And I don't even know that he was just in a play, and so that was enough to. So I was like, oh, I can't do that. I that looks fun, but no. And then we moved to this liberal arts kind of town in Kentucky, but still a pocket. It's where UK is. It's Lexington, Kentucky, and they have a really fun art scene. And my mom put me in this like Shakespeare in the Park And then I started kind of doing this improv stuff in high school, and just kind of like was good at it. And like I had some good drama teachers that really encouraged me and saw like this is what I was supposed to be doing. And then I got into Chicago College of Performing Arts, like got a little money, and also, SNL was the dream, right? It was where did Chris Farley, I think it was before Google. I was like 16 asking Jeeves, where did Chris Farley begin, and it was Second City Chicago. So that was the plan, Chicago no matter what. And then I just happened to get into a theater school in Chicago. So then my dad was like, you should do both. And so he supported me, and I was doing my theater school during the week, and then I was 18 doing Chicago Second City Conservatory. Is like one of the youngest to get in. That's as young as you can. And I got right in, and because I was just spending my weekends there instead of like partying and stuff. And so I was always doing classical acting during the week and improv on the weekends, and I did that the whole time. And then got my SAG card doing commercials, and then said it was time to come do this, and came out here, and then continually just kind of, sometimes it's serious roles, sometimes it's comedic roles. I mean, I played John Hinckley, but also I played like a crazy dumb adult who falls downstairs on Disney shows, so I've been lucky enough that I always have like reps that keep the world separate. Like I've never been like he's a comedy guy, he's a drama guy. There's just certain rooms that know me as a comedy guy and certain rooms that know me as a drama guy, which is great.
I love it. So, just looking at your career and all the things you've done, what is maybe some of the best advice you've been given either by a teacher, an instructor, or perhaps maybe somebody you've worked with that has sustained you in the trajectory of this wild career as an actor?
I can't think of like one piece, but I definitely like just kind of learned from the people I respected. Like I remember in Chicago seeing a couple of my drama teachers, this, lady Kristen Goodman and this guy Adrian Danzig. And what was cool about Chicago is that these teachers were working. I wasn't in the middle of Ohio and like taking acting classes from people who weren't out there. Like these people were like hustling. They would teach and then they'd go do a show and say, come see my show.
Hmm.
And so I really kind of saw like, oh, okay, like the hustle never stops. Like this is how you do that, and like this is how you navigate that, and like you have to make your own stuff. And like so we made our own theater company when we were like 20 years old, and we had our own sketch comedy group when we were 21 in the back of bars in Chicago. Like half of my sketch group had fake IDs so that they could perform in the bar. Like and we started that. We were still in college, and we were, you know, doing our, we didn't want to get in line at Second City. We didn't know so we just made our own. So, and then it was all these kids like we had like three DePaul University kids in our troupe. We had three Roosevelt troupes and three Columbia. So we had all three colleges coming to this bar on Tuesday nights at 11 o'clock. And it was like 122-year-olds drinking Rolling Rocks. And we do an hour sketch comedy. Yeah, and we did that for 2 or 3 years. And so like I got those 1,000 hours or whatever they say you need, those 10,000 hours on stage. Like we did that show for 8 years. So, and it was a new show every week. So we would get together Monday night with a 30-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon, and we would write five new sketches and take five of the best ones from the week before and just do that and do that and do that. And I'm so glad that none of them are filmed. It was before everything's on YouTube.
We're probably
But
close in the same age when you dropped to the Rolling Rocks. Do they make that anymore? Just out of random
somewhere it's
curiosity.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They gotta be somewhere.
It's like the Zima, the throwbacks that Walmart did a few years ago. That's interesting. Well, congratulations on all your success. By my measure, you've made it, and I appreciate the transparency of being just a blue collar actor. And I think that was the huge misconception during the strike was like everybody that acts is a millionaire. And this, that, and the other. And even, Sebastian Maniscalco, they were talking about how he got paid millions to be in Mario. And he's like, I made like $4,500. Like people don't, until I started doing this, I didn't get it, but it's a hard life to choose, but it's a life that's fulfilling, right? Like,
Right. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, when you get the breaks like Beverly Hills Cop, Axel left, that to me would be the validation and the payoff.
yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, 11-year-old me said, I want to go do this. And he did it, and 99.9% of the 11-year-old kids who say I want to go do that don't get to. And I did. So yeah, definitely thank the universe for that for sure.
So, how many times have you watched the opening scene with
Oh
friends
my
and
God. I,
family?
I have seen the movie in a theater 4 times.
Nice.
So yeah, I saw the premiere, which was so cool. But the thing about the premiere though, which I was a little bummed, is they did the party before the movie. So there was like all these, Kevin Bacon and all these celebrities and stuff like that. And like nobody knew who I was because they hadn't seen the movie yet. Whereas if it was after the movie, I could have been like, yay, like but it was still awesome to see it on the big screen. And then they did a cast and crew screening that I went and saw it again. And then they played it at the Egyptian in LA. Netflix owns the Egyptian, so they put it up on the big screen there. So I obviously wanted to take a bunch of friends out there and enjoy that. And then my nephew, my godson, was coming out the same day, but none of my friends could go at night and they wouldn't gonna be here in the morning. So I had to go see it twice in the same day at the Egyptian, but it was worth it to hang that with them. I mean, people wanted to see it with me, so
I mean, it's a testament to your ability and skill because when I see you play this character, you look worn, road beaten down, like this guy who's trying to like get to the next level to get that promotion, and you will do anything to make Axel happy, which chaos ensues, which is just so funny.
yeah, it's funny you say too about like the look. Because I show up first day and like we were talking about the imposter syndrome. I show up the first day and they do the makeup and they do the beard trimming and they slick the hair back. And I felt like I was like, oh, I look pretty good. I'll look good on screen. And then the director's like, what? No, he doesn't look. No, I want him to look real and gritty. He's like, take all that makeup off, like show his bald spot, take all that out. And I was just like, and he's like, no, he doesn't look right anymore. And I was like, oh shit. Like I'm about to get fired. Like I'm like he made a mistake, hired the wrong guy. But no, they just went back. They just wiped it off. They were like he just wanted a real look. He wanted a real Midwest, like you said. I mean, it worked. You feel like this guy is struggling and he's real and he's not a movie star, and he's with Axel Foley. It's an everyman who gets to ride with Axel Foley, and and so then when I came back and he was like, okay, great, you look great. Like it was just too polished.
Yeah, just the guy that's just struggling to get to the next like place in his career as a cop in Detroit. Well, you did a fantastic job. You nailed it, and that all of that will live in infamy for now and forever. So
Right.
like,
And the parallel it was insane, right? Like I'm playing this character who gets to go on this adventure with one of his heroes, and it was like he's out of his element and just trying to like hang on. And that's like exactly how it felt the whole time.
well, congratulations, my friend. All the success is well deserved, and I'm excited to see what's next. You have a great body of work. You've done a lot of really great projects throughout your career. So congratulations. And I'm excited to see what's next for you. It's really good. I mean, it's a great role and you're very talented. So all of
Appreciate
it
it.
is
Thank
well
you, man.
deserved,
Thanks.
100% for sure.
Great. And to you as well, man. Watching your show. I just saw the one you got to talk to Mike Barnes. Come on, that's sick. Yeah, and it's fun. You're doing some fun
Yeah,
stuff.
crazy times. It's just
Yeah.
to think about, you know, the opportunities that we get. And I feel like, you know, it's just hard work and then being met with opportunities and just taking advantage of it when you can. So
It's
thank you
got to
so
be one of the
much.
weirdest like jobs that we do that where the lulls are so long, but then the highs are so high. Like
Yeah.
the lows are so low and the highs are so high. I would do stand up for a while before the pandemic, and one of my jokes was that I have a kid, and he was like 5 or 6, and I was like, if someone asked him what his daddy does for a job, he'd say, well, he disappears for 2 weeks and then he comes back and he's real sad for 6 months.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, congratulations, my friend, and thank you
All right.
so much for hanging out. I appreciate it.
You too, man. Have a great day.
You too.